The fuel cell in this kit is a reversible PEM, polymer electrolyte membrane fuel cell. It is reversible because it can be used to both electrolyze water, H2O, into H2 and O2, then use the H2 as an energy carrier to power an electric load. There are two separate sides to the fuel cell where the gas is produced during electrolysis, an oxygen side and a hydrogen side. When used as a power source, the gases recombine as water on the oxygen side. If this is the first time that you are using the kit, you'll need some distilled water, 2 AA batteries for the battery pack, and you will need to cut some of the tubing that is in the kit. You'll want 2 pieces of tubing about 1 inch in length to attach to the pressure relief valves. You'll also need 2 pieces of tubing to attach to the syringes. A 2-inch piece and a 3-inch piece works well. Draw about 1 milliliter of distilled water into a syringe. It is a good idea when using the syringe in the kit to first move the plunger manually to ensure that it is not sticking. Place the fuel cell on a table or have a team member hold it, oxygen side facing you. Attach the tubing, syringe to the top nozzle on the oxygen side of the fuel cell and inject all of the water into the fuel cell. Excess water will come out of the bottom nozzle on the oxygen side. Attach a tubing pressure relief valve to the bottom nozzle on the oxygen side. Attach tubing, syringe, and tubing pressure relief valve to the nozzles on the hydrogen side of the fuel cell in a similar manner. Do not inject water into the hydrogen side of the fuel cell. Insert banana clips into the fuel cell on both the hydrogen and oxygen sides. These are the contacts for attaching leads to the fuel cell. The fuel cell is now ready to be used in the electrolyzer mode. Caution! When using the fuel cell in the electrolyzer mode, you must be extremely careful in connecting the leads from the battery pack to the banana clips. Make sure that the battery pack is turned off before proceeding. The red lead of the battery pack is attached to the banana clip on the oxygen side of the fuel cell, and the black lead from the battery pack is attached to the banana clip on the hydrogen side of the fuel cell. Failure to follow this procedure will result in the fuel cell being permanently damaged. Additionally, never use a battery pack other than the one supplied with a student kit, or you risk destroying the usefulness of the fuel cell. To use the fuel cell in the electrolyzer mode, attach the leads from the battery pack. Be sure that the battery pack is turned off to the banana clips you placed in the fuel cell. Red lead to the banana clip on the oxygen side of the fuel cell, and black lead to the banana clip extending from the hydrogen side of the fuel cell. This is extremely important because the fuel cell will be ruined if the leads are attached incorrectly. Turn the battery pack on and you will notice that the plungers in the syringes are moving as the water is being separated into hydrogen and oxygen. Turn the battery pack off when the hydrogen syringe has 5 milliliters of gas. There will be about 2.5 milliliters of oxygen in the other syringe. That's why the formula is H2O. The fuel cell is now ready to be used as the power source. Disconnect the battery pack from the fuel cell. Attach a red lead to the banana clip on the oxygen side of the fuel cell and a black lead to the banana clip on the hydrogen side of the fuel cell. Attach the other end of the leads to the contacts on the motor in the gearbox. The motor will begin to run. Notice that the plungers on the syringe again begin to move as the fuel cell uses the gases in them. The first time that you use a fuel cell, the motor will stop running before all of the hydrogen in the syringe is used. As you use it more often, it will increase the amount of hydrogen that it will use. Vent any hydrogen and oxygen that isn't used into the air and repeat the electrolysis procedure. Normally, it takes about 15 minutes of operation before the fuel cell runs at peak efficiency. The components of the vehicle can be assembled in any number of ways. This method follows the procedure described in the manual. The gearbox is mounted on the chassis so that the exposed gears sit over the hole in the bottom of the chassis and can turn freely. 2 longer screws are inserted in the bottom of the chassis as the gearbox is held in place and extended through the U-shaped mounting area on the gearbox. A washer is placed on the screw and a nut added to fasten it. Use the screwdriver to turn the screw while holding the nut in place. Then press the wheels onto the axle. The wheels should just engage the splines on the axle and shouldn't be pressed on so that the splines are completely covered. Pressing them on that hard would make them very difficult to remove from the axle. Next, attach the front axle brace to the chassis. It can be mounted on the top of the chassis or on the bottom of it. Whichever you decide, you'll be using the lock washer provided to ensure a snug fit so that the brace won't rotate. Use the lock washer so that it comes in contact with the wood. Install a small screw and fasten with washer and nut. Insert the axle through the brace. Add a spacer on each side and then press the wheels on. Next, mount the fuel cell to the fuel cell mounting bracket using the two larger nuts. The fuel cell and brace can be mounted onto the chassis in a number of ways, parallel to the sides of the chassis or perpendicular to the sides. Wherever you decide to mount it, insert two short screws in the bottom of the chassis so they go through the two remaining holes on the mounting bracket. Place a washer and nut on the screw and use the screwdriver to tighten while holding the nut in place. The wrench in the kit can be used to apply additional torque to the nuts. Finally, attach a red lead to the banana clip on the oxygen side and a black lead to the banana clip on the hydrogen side. Attach the other end of the leads to the connections on the motor, and away you go.